Namaskar dear students, I welcome you to our channel Bio by Gulab Sir. As a part of series of lectures, we have decided to start new chapter, cell, a fundamental unit of life, a structural and functional unit of life. It's very interesting to know about cell in detail. In 9th class you would have learned. Now in 11th class you will learn in detail. As cell is the basic of life, long before 2800 million years ago, when first cell as a co-servate protocell was started to evolve, it evolved into first prokaryotic cell and then eukaryotic cells. There are evidences that first cellular form appeared on the earth 2000 million years ago. It's very interesting to know about history of the cell. Evolution of the life is really very interesting. If you go through for evolution of life, you will find how long process it is to have this best of best fundamental unit of life. It has everything to nurture all types of species, all human beings which were, are and will be existing on the earth are supported by this system. It's a unique system with that living material protoplasm and living membrane cell membrane. Wow, how natural engineering is. It is really fantastic to know about. Although we believe and we have to believe in God, but at the same time we should believe that God lies within us in the form of these structures which support us right from birth to the death. Why should not we learn very fundamental characteristic of this one as a curiosity and interest, not only for marks to get in examination, but also as it is a part of our life. We begin our life from that single cell zygote. Let's know about it. If we know every and each thing about this life, definitely it is going to be fantastic. Let us know about cell. फिर भी मैं आपको एक गुजारिश करूंगा कि आप हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और लाइक करें ताकि हमारा इंटरेस्ट बना रहे. तो चलो अब जानते हैं कि सेल क्या है, सेल के ऑर्गेनेल्स क्या है. तो as you are studying about plant cell, animal cell and bacterial cell, these two are eukaryotic cells and this one is a prokaryotic cells. These eukaryotic cells are so called because they have nuclear membrane around their chromosome or genetic material, that they have well developed nucleus. Here that there is no nuclear membrane, genetic material is directly as it is in cytoplasm, and that therefore is known as nucleoid without nuclear membrane. Chromosome, genetic material is without nuclear membrane, nucleoid. Here it is with nuclear membrane, as well as these cells have cell organelles, and prokaryotic cells they lack major cell organelles, although ribosome is present in both. But other organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body, lysosome, mitochondria, chloroplast are not present in prokaryotic cell. Here in 11th class, you are not supposed to have distinguishing feature between plant cell and animal cell or eukaryotic and prokaryotic, but you are here to learn about detail about each and every organelles. Therefore, I have chosen first that first organelles are part of the cell as a cell membrane. So let us continue with cell membrane first. Cell membrane is an outer membrane in animal cells and inside the cell wall of the plant cell. This is a living membrane. It is so called because it maintains the homeostasis of the cell. What does it mean? It means maintenance of internal environment with their very peculiar characteristics. In plant cells, cell wall is fully permeable, but cell membrane is semi-permeable and selectively permeable. To decide the amount of content to be influx and outflux, as well as selective, that which content to be allowed in and out. Therefore, the deciding factor, that checkpoint is cell membrane, and therefore cell membrane is known as living membrane. Cell membrane is also known as plasmolemma, neurolemma, as well as sarcolemma. Plasmolemma, plasma, it covers the plasma. Neurolemma in nervous tissue, neuron cell, it covers the protoplasm of the neuron cell. And sarcolemma, that is what? Cell membrane of muscles. Since it covers sarcoplasm, therefore it is called as sarcolemma. These are the terms. Moreover, Tonoplast is the term, that is the membrane around vacuole, and double membrane around nucleus, mitochondria and chloroplast. They are made up of two membranes. That is also a peculiar character. But all these membranes are made up of lipid and protein. So here, this is the diagram. That is a general diagram given in book. You can practice it. Here you can see this is a bilipid layer. They are present and facing their head region on both the sides. These head regions are exposed. One is outside, one is exposed inside of the cell. And their tails are directing inside of the membrane. Head region are hydrophilics and tail region are hydrophobic. So here you can see this is a fluid mosaic model. Why it is so called? Because these lipids, they are liquid in nature, semi-solid, semi-liquid in nature. They provide fluidity, and moreover, this protein which are arranged present inside the lipid or two lipid membrane, they are just like sandwich between bilipid layer. It can be said that this bilipid, semi-solid, semi-liquid bilipid layer consists of this mosaically arranged protein molecule or dispersed protein molecule. Mosaic arrangement or disbursement of protein is mosaic, and therefore it is called mosaic model or fluid mosaic model. Fluid is because of it has fluidity. Mosaic, it is because of mosaic arrangement of this protein, and therefore Nicholson and Singer, one who discovered and described this cell membrane for very first time, they have given name fluid mosaic model. I hope you got the explanation for why it is called fluid mosaic model. Now let us go in detail. As I told you that it is a bilipid layer having protein sandwich in between them or mosaic arrangement. The component lipid is around 40% and protein it is about 52%. It is very clearly given in your book, and therefore I have mentioned here that proteins are 52% and these lipids are 40% in its composition. So it's very important to remember for examination. So can be asked in NEET. Now very important that protein, they are of two types. Integral protein, those which are present inside the membrane, in membrane, and those which are exposed either inside or outside, they are called peripheral protein. Very important of this functions of this protein is that they are help to have active transport of content across the membrane, because some of the elements or some of the content or components, they are not permeable. Moreover, they are insoluble in water and they have hydrophilic moiety, as well as they are insoluble in lipid, and therefore they need to have some facility. That is what carrier protein, they provide facility to carry this molecule across the membrane, and therefore these proteins can be called as carrier protein. Some of the protein which are present in some of the organs or tissue, they are receptor. As you know that hormones are secreted at a gland or one part of the body and act at another part. Means for that hormones, there are specific receptor in specific organ. Therefore that hormone can act only in that part. Why we say that hormones act at specific target? Because target organ or cell, they have receptor for that specific protein, specific hormone, and therefore I can say that they are not only carrier, but some of the proteins are receptor protein. It's very important to note for NEET. Question can be asked: hormones act at target organ. This is the statement. What will be the reason? Target organ membrane has specific receptor protein to receive that hormone and create the secondary signal inside the cell, and therefore you have to remember. Second thing, in addition to this bilipid layer, that what head hydrophilic and tail hydrophobic. Since it is hydrophobic, it is made up of hydrocarbon chain. It protects cell and cell membrane from aqueous medium, as well as won't allow to transfer that water and water content. As our skin get wet, but water cannot transfer across the skin. It is because of this hydrophobic nature of the tail, and that is very important to note. Next, in addition to this bilipid layer and protein, you can see here there is a carbohydrate chain, as well as this can be called as glyceride chain. Here this is another what glycerides molecules. Moreover, it has cholesterol also. So 52% protein, 40% lipid, and cholesterol, glyceride, phosphoglyceride, glycolipids, glycoproteins are 5 to 8% in its composition. Now let us continue with this diagram. You practice this diagram. Question can be asked: Explain anatomy of plasma membrane or fluid mosaic model. Explain fluid mosaic model given by Nicholson and Singer. That question can be asked. With this diagram you have to start. See what explanation given about it. It's very important and you can note down this point as your notes. Cell membrane is living membrane, that I explained why it is living membrane, as it is selectively permeable as well as semi-permeable to maintain the homeostasis of the cell and thereby environment of the cells or characteristic of the cell. It is thin living membrane, it is semi-permeable as well as selectively permeable. This membrane covering over plant as well as animal cell. It is a covering membrane in both prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic cell. It is made up of lipid and protein that already discussed. It is about 60 to 100 angstrom in thickness. Lipids are arranged in such a way that they have hydrophilic and hydrophobic end. Hydrophilic end exposed outside while hydrophobic end within the cell membrane. Non-polar tail, that is what we call made up of saturated hydrocolons which protect membrane cell from aqueous environment, already discussed. Lipid membranes of a cell, that membrane mainly composed of phosphoglyceride, that is what you have to remember. See importance of positive fluid. This is again to repeat. Structure was very easy, you understood by seeing diagram, you can mention the point. But see, these are the importance of that one. It enables lateral movement of protein. See, that is called unipode, antipode and sympode transport, as well as aquaporin, that which are present in the membrane. They help in transport of content from outside to inside and inside to outside. Thereby, influx and outflux of that content and component is maintained by protein present in that bilipid layer. Importance of lipid is that provide movement of protein within the membrane to gain and deliver, to receive and deliver content from outside to inside, and that is what influx. Therefore, it enables lateral movement of protein within the membrane. This ability to move within the membrane, ability to move movement of protein within the membrane is called fluidity, and therefore it helps to have the transport, easy transport. Fluid nature of the lipid also help and in function like cell growth, formation and intercellular junctions. Yes, there are intercellular junctions, there is an interaction, biochemical interaction, biochemical dialogue between cells, and that is what transport of molecules across the membrane by passive and active. That is what you learn in 9th class. Passive movement by diffusion, facilitated diffusion and osmosis, as well as active movement, that is what involvement of energy to transfer something against its concentration gradient. That means cell membrane help in transport passively as well as actively, and therefore they can maintain the internal environment by having specific component with their requirement, and therefore cells are active. They not only maintain their own cell as a living but also support tissue, organ system and thereby organism. That is what intelligence of the cells to maintain livingness within there as well as to coordinate and cooperate with tissue, organ system and organism to alive and respond accordingly. Therefore, it is what a miraculous engineering of the nature, that is what gifted by the evolution. Let us learn in different way and enjoy this process of learning about cell and its organelles. So we have started first organelle as a cell membrane. Please go through this diagram and notes and prepare well. Question can be asked for 5 marks. What is fluid mosaic model? Explain it with label diagram. I hope you have got it. You will practice it and you will go through these notes as a point of explanation for your examination as well as question to be asked in NEET. Thank you. Happy learning.